It's 16 minutes past 11 on RM1 and Meling Balloo, and you're listening to Interfaces. There are moments when a nation stops to ask itself, who are we grateful for? Who keeps us safe, keeps us healthy, keeps us going when everything falls apart? In Mauritius, the answer is clear. Thousands of dedicated individuals, nurses holding hands for the longest nights, doctors making impossible decisions, social workers rebuilding shattered lives, carers offering dignity when illness tries to steal it away, educators shaping the next generation of healers. They work on the front lines and behind the scenes, often unseen, rarely celebrated. But what if we changed that? What if, for once, we stopped as a nation and said, we see you, we recognize you, you are our stars? That's exactly what NouZetwals, our stars in Mauritian Creole, is all about. Mauritius' first National Health and Social Care Excellence Awards. Nominations open on the 11th of November, and for the first time, anyone, colleagues, patients, students, family members can nominate the people who make a difference every single day. The award ceremony will take place next year, in April next year, and it promises to be a moment of national recognition unlike anything we've seen before. This morning in our studio, and it's her birthday as well, I'm delighted to have once more on this particular show, Edyta Ozbek, founder and managing director of NouZetwals. Happy birthday, first of all.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Pleasure to be here with you today.
Great to have you. How are you feeling today?
Really excited. Yeah, we've got lots of work to do before the 11th of November. We're on track, and it's all coming together really well.
Nicely.
Yeah.
Edyta, let's start at the beginning.
Yes.
NouZetwals, our stars. I mentioned that earlier.
Our
it's
stars,
a beautiful name, but it's also an ambitious idea.
Yes.
Mauritius' first national award celebrating health and social care excellence. So tell me where this come from and where this came from, actually. What was the moment, the conversation, the spark that made you think we need to do this and we need to do this now?
No, absolutely. It's well overdue as well. And you will know from our previous interview that I have very extensive experience in international recruitment and workforce development. And so I would go to lots of different countries around the world with my clients, mostly NHS, and interview healthcare professionals. And through that, I've really developed a very deep understanding of their mental health, weight that they carry, the responsibility, the sacrifices that they make. And
In order to make it work.
And none of them work in ideal circumstances. There's shortage of healthcare professionals all around the world. There's I think we read an article here in Mauritius a few months ago that talks about the country being short of 1,500 nurses. That means that every day you come to work and you're short of staff. And Mauritius faces various different challenges in terms of healthcare, but it never stops these incredible people getting up every day and delivering the best care that they can, doing their best for the patients, because they're not here for show. They are here for the patients. And in the UK, we have this incredible pride in our healthcare staff, in our NHS. During COVID, like many other countries, we would come out and clap for the NHS, and as a NHS staff member, you get discounts for restaurants, gyms, even public transport. We really, as a nation, give them that status in the society that they deserve. And
absolutely, because my partner's mother, my future mother-in-law, she's actually worked in healthcare. Yes. And then we went to the UK, we went to a shop and she got like a discount, though she's retired now.
Exactly.
It's crazy, and it's not the same, and it's not the case here for now.
Yes. And I think, we're in the UK, we do also, get things wrong. We have very long queues and waiting times, but we do stop to celebrate. Yes. We do celebrate the small and the big wins. And having had the pleasure of working on several projects that kind of span across the private and the public sector, I can see that there is some recognition in the private sector. There is very little in the public sector. And so the aim of NouZetwals is, as you said, to shine a light on those incredible people, but to do it as a nation, for us all to say, we absolutely understand what you do. And there is one example I would like to bring up, And we were with Oxford University Hospitals in Spain recruiting palliative care nurses. It must have been at least 10 years ago.
Okay.
And this lovely young nurse walks into the interview and she says, you only get to give your patient the death that they want once.
Yeah.
You get one chance at getting it right for them. So if they've asked you to prepare everything to die in a hospice, you made it happen. And then in their last hours, they change their mind and they would like to be at home in their own bed.
And have a different experience.
You move heaven and earth to make it happen. And then what happens when you don't get there on time?
Exactly.
You know, they go home with that weight of responsibility.
With that sadness.
And that sadness. And they carry that and they live through it. And then the next day they do the same thing
over
again.
and over again.
And they do their best again. And so being a nurse and then being a health or social care provider is more than just what we see. And as a nation, I would like to be able to, for us all to come together and have a better understanding of their stories, their excellence, and give them that spotlight. And you talked about the name. And you know, when we were brainstorming the names, we really wanted it to be in Creole because this is for this nation. This is for our Mauritian people. And those who work here who have come from abroad too. And one of the options that came up was in Creole, new stars. But they are not new. They are already
our
here.
Stars, exactly.
They are our stars. And we love them. We appreciate them.
Definitely, and there's something quite radical in what you said earlier, because we live in a society that often takes healthcare workers for granted. They don't get the treatment they deserve, the recognition they deserve, so they're just expected to be there, to take care of people, to sacrifice. And you were saying, now we're going to shine a light on them. We're going to make them visible in 2025, 2026, the award ceremony. You say, can we talk about a national movement, Edyta, rather than just an awards ceremony? It's quite a movement. So explain to us that distinction, because an award ceremony is one night. A movement is something bigger, something that's here to last.
Yes, absolutely. So the award ceremony is this visible vehicle by which we will introduce that culture of appreciation. And everyone understands the concept of going to a lovely hotel for a dinner gala and awards being given out. But there is a lot of work that needs to happen before we get there in April. And that's where
behind the scenes.
Exactly. And that's where the community comes in. So community in terms of both the general public, because they can also nominate their health providers. So we really wanted the public to have a voice and have a way of appreciating their healthcare providers. But also the healthcare workforce, health and social care workforce, they can nominate themselves, they can nominate colleagues, teams or educators, etc. So the first point really is to make a nomination, to bring people together, to celebrate each other, and just that buzz of potentially nominating someone who might not be expecting to get shortlisted as a finalist and collecting testimonials from colleagues and patients, that in itself raises morale already. It tells the healthcare workforce, we are going from now on to be recognizing you because you are doing great.
Exactly. Positivity all the way long. So it's about changing the culture. You want NouZetwals to become an annual landmark in Mauritius calendar. You mentioned that earlier. Something that every healthcare worker knows exists. Something that inspires pride and purpose. You want young people to look at these awards and think, that's the career I want. I want to be someone's star.
Exactly.
Is that correct?
We also, with the judges, we decided that we're going to launch a national competition in schools for the children to design a mascot that embodies the pride and the celebration in the healthcare workers. And that's going to be the way by which we will introduce this concept to the kids. Now, there are two goals here. One is to let them know this is what we're doing and for them to also start thinking about healthcare careers. But the second one, once those mascots have been made, we would like our international and local judges to go to schools and do awareness raising about the visible healthcare professions. So I think everyone knows what the nurses do and the doctors do. but then the invisible ones, like occupational health therapists and speech and language therapists, get them thinking and have a conversation with them to say, is your mummy a nurse? Yes. Fantastic, your mummy is a star. There's a toy for you.
Exactly.
For the children to go home and feel proud of their parents. Because as a parent myself, I feel on top of the world when my son says, Mummy, I'm proud of you. And the kids will then want to learn more. Why is everyone so proud of my mummy? Mummy, what is it that you actually do? Daddy.
And this will change the perspective on healthcare in general, especially starting here in Mauritius. And beyond the awards, you're building a platform, a community, a sense of belonging. You're creating this sense of belonging, resources for well-being, professional development, peer recognition. So this is just the beginning of something much bigger. In the studio with us, we also have your co-founder and director, Jean-François Moutoussamy, that will probably have the pleasure to interview in the near future. So can you tell us a bit about this partnership? How did you meet him? Because creating something like this requires different skills, different perspectives. So how did you two come together?
Yes, Jean-François and I met at La Plage Factory, which is a wonderful community that supports startup businesses here in Mauritius. It's accredited by MRIC. And so through that work, we sat down over lunch one time and we talked very extensively about about healthcare. And it was really interesting to have that local perspective, because as an expat, we come in and see those things, but
From a different point of view.
From a different point of view. I haven't lived through these experiences for the last 30, 40 years here in Mauritius. So it's incredibly important that we have both sides of the coin present and we evaluate everything, which is why as part of the evaluation process for the awards, we have both international judges and local judges.
So together you complement each other.
Exactly. And we both feel very strongly about uplifting people and recognizing people. So further research into morale within the healthcare sector, engagement, various different research papers written by World Health Organization have led us to put together a business plan, which then was the catalyst for everything unfolding. And the most inspiring thing for me is that everyone we engage with feels like it's the right thing to do. It's the
right decision to make.
Yes, and they want to be part of it. So we I think we originally anticipated to have only about 34 judges. We now have a pool of over 60 because so-and-so will introduce so-and-so and everyone wants to be part of this movement.
That proves that it's working, and you both with Jean-François share this absolute conviction that Mauritius is a nation built on care for our families, our neighbours, our communities, and that deserves to be celebrated on the highest level. Let's talk about the structure of NouZetwals now. You've designed 13 award categories, and reading through them, what strikes me is how comprehensive it is as well, because you sent me the flyer. You are celebrating every part of the health and care system, from emerging talent to lifelong achievement, from clinical excellence to behind-the-scenes contributions. So walk me through this thinking this morning. How did you decide there are going to be 13 categories that matter?
Oh, goodness. We started with 24, and it was an extremely painful process to narrow it down to 13 because first of all, this concept is new to Mauritius, so we need to start off with something that is bite-sized chunks and allow for categories that are likely to attract nominations. Secondly, if you go to an awards ceremony and you have to sit through 25 different categories, by the end of the night you're just going to be fed up, and you lose the special feel about it.
You lose the interest.
Yes. We are not a commercial entity, so it is not in our interest to ramp up the categories and ramp up the finalists to sell tickets, because one of the key principles for us is to be able to everyone to be able to access these awards for free.
Exactly.
Nominations are free to make, so you can submit a nomination, you register an account, and it's free. But then the finalists that we shortlist for these categories will also be invited to the ceremony for free.
So what struck me actually and continues to strike me is the inclusivity of it. You said it yourself, you want everyone to feel valued and included. So you're very explicit that this is for public and private sectors, no boundaries, clinical and non-clinical roles. Why was that actually quite important for you?
Yes, it's important because the private sector does recognize certain aspects, but maybe not necessarily focusing enough on the workforce. So there are innovation awards, and it's one thing being staff of the year for an organization, and it's another being recognized at a national level. We don't want anyone to be excluded. We want to recognize both private and public system and be able to bring them together under one roof. Because what I've been hearing through my experiences is the public system says we want to talk to the private and the private want to talk to the public, but somebody needs to be that catalyst to actually make it happen. So that's one of the reasons. The second is clinical and non-clinical. Imagine your healthcare assistants. They don't have a clinical degree. Imagine people who work in accounts and procurement and they do 12-hour days. They have small children, but they need to keep the ecosystem going.
And they need to learn how to respect each other.
Yes. And so we need to recognize everyone that is part of the ecosystem, because without them, the system will not work.
So these awards model that unity.
Yes.
Let's talk about the nominations process, because this is where it gets really interesting. Nominations open on November 11th. I said that earlier in the introduction, and close on, if I'm not wrong, January 9th.
That's correct.
That's correct. But here's what's remarkable. Anyone can nominate: colleagues, managers, patients, students, family members, even self-nominations are encouraged. So can you tell me about this decision?
Yes, so we really want people not to be shy about what they do and why they are excellent, because the biggest part of shining a light on your excellence is to be able to share that knowledge with everyone else. So if you are doing something that is phenomenal, whether you're an individual or a team, let others learn from you. But come and tell us about it. So we very much encourage self-nominations.
Yeah. But there's something quite radical about self-nomination, though. In many cultures, including Mauritian culture, especially Mauritian culture, self-promotion is seen as arrogant. But you're saying, no, it's okay to recognize your own excellence.
Yes.
It's okay to be proud of who you are.
Yes, that's... See yourself through my eyes. And I think as humans, we have this flaw that we always appreciate others more than we appreciate ourselves. And we are very self-critical of ourselves. But actually stop to think about the amazing person that you are and see yourself through our prism, through our eyes, because we celebrate you, we see you, and we think you are phenomenal. So come and tell us about what it is that you do so that others can be inspired by you as well.
So you want to remove that first barrier, the barrier of someone else having to notice you. Yes. Sometimes you have to notice yourself first. Yes. So can you walk me now through what happens after nominations close in January? How do you go from potentially thousands of nominations to 13 winners by April? Yes, let's say, crossing fingers for that.
Hopefully
that's what this show is all about. And it's for...
Yes. So before we close the nominations, what happens is once you submit the nomination through our system, it will first get picked up by our support team. And we have support available in English, French, and Creole, which I feel is very, very important as well. And we are here to really set everyone up for success. So the support team will review the initial submission, and if they feel that can be improved, either by providing additional evidence or expanding on a certain aspect, they will contact the nominator.
Okay.
That might be a different person to the nominee, and discuss it with them. And that can be a phone call or a video call on Teams or Zoom, etc. So we're really wanting to make sure that the nominations that get passed to the judges on the 12th of January are of good enough quality.
Exactly. So what will they look for? I mean, the judges, they will review all nominations. I got that. Yes. Will they ask these questions, for instance, what was the specific contribution? Yes. What was the impact on patients, on colleagues, on the system? Is there evidence? Yes. Are there measurable outcomes? Is that about it?
All of those things as well. And we are looking for values-driven projects too, and how those kind of are shared with the community. So if you are doing something excellent, do you have the opportunity to share it with other organizations? We are looking for innovation. We are looking for excellence in care, for compassion. Evidence is very important. Evidence could be anything. It could be an impact report, it could be a presentation or feedback as well. So depending on the category, all of those things are very transparently articulated on our website. And once you register and start submitting the nomination. So there isn't anything that the judges will know that the public doesn't know. We want them to be able to have a full view and transparent view of what it is exactly that we're looking for, so that they can write a nomination. I do completely appreciate your concern though. And in my experience recruiting healthcare staff, I have seen it more than 1 million times that you sit in front of someone who's completely remarkable, yet you look at their CV and you think, oh my goodness, there's nothing here in that CV. And that for me is the biggest risk with these awards, is that people might not actually be able to present it very well. And this is why we have this support mechanism in place as well. We will also be doing outreach campaigns. We will be going to healthcare organizations to talk about it, give them guidance.
It's not going to be just on paper. It's going to be much more.
We are hands-on.
Yeah, you're building a process. You're building a relationship with the nominees and obviously, hopefully as well the winners. It's going to be a beautiful evening in April 2026. The 25th of April 2026, a celebration of everything that's best about Mauritius, and most importantly, recognition. There will be music, I'm sure, storytelling, emotion. Can you paint us a picture of how you imagine this particular ceremony? Because I know that's been in your mind for quite a while. We met in May. You spoke to me about this particular project, and it didn't have a name yet.
It didn't, no.
And now you have the name, and you're moving forward. You're achieving, what you work for.
Yes.
How does it feel, and how do you imagine that particular night? What will it look like? What experience will you be creating?
So you are very right. We met in May, and the feedback that I am thrilled about that I'm getting from the steering committee and the judges and anyone who's participating is how fast we are moving ahead. And it's only possible because of the incredible clinicians and academics that are part of the steering committee and the judges pool and all of their support too. So that beautiful night is going to take place in a lovely hotel. We're yet to put down a deposit to be confirmed. We do have a place in mind, but we're going to confirm that later. And one of the reasons why we chose only 13 categories is that we really want this event to feel very special for the finalists. We want to be able to bring all of our international judges to Mauritius, and they are from the US, from UK, Canada, Eswatini, Zambia, Kenya, Ghana, and New Zealand, and more, to be able to bring them here. Obviously invite very senior stakeholders from the Mauritian Ministry of Health and the sector too, be able to spend time with them, appreciating them, and then celebrating them. And beyond winning the award, one of the key things that we would like to be able to offer our winners is a scholarship opportunity. So winning the award is the beginning of the journey. It's not the end of the journey. That's the beginning of the journey, because you become part of a global healthcare family. You become embraced by the steering committee, by the judges, by those people that are part of this project.
So just by the fact that you're saying this now, there's something you said earlier that I want to come back to, the idea that NouZetwals is about changing culture.
Yes.
Is that true? You've mentioned well-being resources, professional development, peer recognition. So this sounds, like I mentioned earlier as well, building an ecosystem, not just an event. Can you tell me now, after the awards, what's the longer-term vision?
So part of the long-term vision is to deliver capacity strengthening programs, which we call legacy programs within the healthcare sector, health and social care sectors. Again, those will be available to both private and public organizations, hopefully delivered free of charge. We, as a non-profit, rely on the generosity of sponsors, and so we welcome any participation from potential organizations. But the idea is to deliver 4 legacy programs that will strengthen the system and create a ripple effect. The first program is organizational culture and leadership. The second one is mental health and pastoral care well-being for the existing staff. Third focuses on supporting international staff, because the ministry is recruiting to fill in the gap of 1,500 nurses. I'm aware that they are recruiting from overseas, so to really ensure a very good onboarding structure and cultural adaptation of those international recruits. And the fourth program is centered around patient communication, to really improve that level of communication, both with the patients and their families, but also internally with your colleagues. And all of those things, we hope, will have one key goal and contribute to one key goal, and that is increasing the level of excellence in the Mauritian healthcare sector and the patient care that we all receive, because healthcare is not something that only our grandparents need.
Yes.
You know, we, our partners, our husbands, wives, and our children need healthcare every day. So this initiative is going to touch everybody's lives, no matter if you're an accounting firm, if you're a car sales dealer. This is going to raise our nation, and together the healthcare workforce, as a nation, we can raise the healthcare workforce and improve patient outcomes for all of us.
And shift our perspectives, most importantly, creating a culture where recognition becomes daily practice, not just an annual event.
Exactly.
It's much more than that. It's deeper.
And it's an environment that we build now that our children will be coming into. And I would love for my kids to be healthcare professionals. I want them to come into a system, ideally here in Mauritius, where they feel mentored and supported.
You are describing what sounds like a professional community, almost like a union, but focused on recognition and support rather than negotiation.
Yes, exactly. Yes, it's what can we all do to make our healthcare system stronger and more resilient.
We can think as well of it this way. Unions fight for what healthcare workers deserve. NouZetwals celebrates what healthcare workers give. Both are necessary, both strengthen the sector.
I love it.
I love it. That's great. Let's talk about the webinar you're hosting soon as well. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. Mauritius time, just before nominations open. What's the purpose of that? What are you hoping to achieve?
We're going to introduce the vision and talk in a little bit more detail about the different aspects of the awards, and delve a little bit more into the nomination process, the technicalities of it. But it's really to give the community a chance to come learn more about NouZetwals, understand what it is that we're hoping to achieve, so that they can participate. And they can participate in a number of different ways. One way is obviously to submit a nomination, nominate someone that they appreciate. Another one is to become a sponsor or a partner. We are also looking for volunteers, so if anyone has a few hours spare a week, we're very welcome. Would love to hear from them. And yes, as you said, we are building a national movement, because I love this expression that talks about it takes a village to raise a baby.
Absolutely. It's difficult. It requires a sustained effort.
Yes.
Could put it that way. But how would you measure whether NouZetwals is actually making a difference? How will you know in 2 years, 5 years that this worked?
Yes, so we have a very good structure measuring KPIs, because this needs to be sustainable and it needs to be impactful. Otherwise, we're just having a party every year, and that's not the point of it. And the legacy programs that we will be delivering will be strengthening the system through building a pool of trainers. Okay. So the premise behind those programs is to roll out the baseline training in the first instance, and then identify champions for every program within regions, within organizations, and then deliver train the trainer courses, so that they can educate their organizations and people within their communities on culture, recognition, appreciation, mentorship, and supporting one another. We also hope that the first year's winners will then act as brand ambassadors and will support the future winners and future participants, and that it will kind of
Create
become
a domino effect
Yes.
afterwards.
Absolutely.
And now I want to ask you something more personal. You've chosen to dedicate your time, your energy, your expertise to this initiative. It's a big commitment, co-founding something like this. It's not a small undertaking for sure. What drives you personally? What is it about this work that makes you willing to put yourself into it?
Oh, I think it's that very, very deep love and appreciation for healthcare professions. You know, that having worked with them for nearly 15 years and hearing all of their stories and the sacrifices, and going home after interviews thinking, goodness, I could never do what they do. They are just incredible. And so I absolutely think, I mean, there are other sectors that also need to be recognized, like teachers, for instance. You know, they do an amazing work too. But my personal love and passion is for the health and social care workers, because healthcare is the most important thing in your life.
It could be the starting point,
Yes.
and then open to other sectors, a focus on the different sectors present.
Yes, and I did have a conversation with a couple of schools, and I said to them, I will be very happy to share with you everything that we've built and worked on. You can copy the software kind of package too. Bring it to other communities. Let people take advantage of it. Remember, we are a non-profit, so there is no commercial angle to it. If we can implement it and make it available to other communities, we are happy to share. No strings attached.
Definitely. And that's what drives you, the belief that recognition is a form of justice. And that Mauritius, which is a nation built on care and looking after each other, deserves to lead the way in celebrating its carers. So there's something quite Mauritian about that, in a way, this idea of gratitude, of community, of recognizing the people who hold us together. But we're also sometimes quite reserved as a culture, talking about the Mauritian culture. We don't always express appreciation easily, and I think I mentioned that earlier. But do you think, right, Mauritius is ready for this?
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, the one thing I will say, you will remember this from our earlier interview, when we arrived in Mauritius, we just felt welcomed. From even before we set foot in Mauritius, we had so much support from both the local and the expat community. We arrived with our 8 suitcases and 2 children. We slotted right into this beautiful life, and we felt supported, we felt welcomed. This is the Mauritian culture.
Your second home.
We are not bringing something that doesn't exist. We are just giving it a spotlight, because you already do all those incredible things. You support people, you are excellent, you are welcoming, and it's not new. It's just the new part is being able to recognize and celebrate it,
to enhance it,
to give it a spotlight, to give it a place and time to come together and sit down, put everything else aside and just enjoy it and celebrate it.
To give it a platform. Edyta, we're coming to the end of our time, but I want to make sure our listeners know exactly what they need to do. Nominations open November 11th. They close January 9th, 2026. Award ceremony April 25th, 2026. But right now, today, right?
Yes.
What should people do on the 3rd of November?
On the 3rd of November, on my birthday, please give me a gift of signing up for our webinar, which is tomorrow on the 4th of November at 8 p.m. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your thoughts, but we'd also like to share with you a little bit more about the program, introduce judges. There's going to be quite a few judges present, so you will actually get to meet them too, and spread the word. Let people know, both within your community, within your work, within your organization or your family. Let people know this is what we're hoping to achieve, and please take part in it.
You said it all. Edyta Ozbek, founder and managing director of NouZetwals Mauritius, first National Health and Social Care Excellence Awards nomination. Just to remind our guests and our listeners today, open November 11th, award ceremony April 25th, 2026. So this is a historic moment for Mauritius, for our little island, and I have no doubt it's going to be extraordinary. So thank you for sharing this vision of yours with us today, and thank you to Jean-François François that's in the studio as well, and hopefully we'll get him back on the show next time and do a double interview of the two of you. Thank you so much for making this happen in this beautiful country.
Wonderful to be here. Thanks.
End of our show, dear listeners. Let's talk soon, and I'll see you in a few moments.